Hey, we have Mike Smith with us, who just re-signed with the Oilers for 1 year. Reminder, if you'd like to ask a question, use the raise hand function. I will unmute you, identify you, and then you can ask your question. We have our first question, and I should welcome Mike, and congratulations, and welcome back to the Oilers. Great to have you back and coming back to Edmonton. Reed Wilkins, go ahead with your question as soon as your microphone's unmuted.
Thanks, Andre. Hi, Mike. Welcome back to the Oilers. Good to talk to you again. Wondering just what the last day or so was like. I mean, you were a free agent and I guess didn't have a team for a while. So what was it like kind of going through that? Did you talk to anybody else? Did you always think it was going to wind up Edmonton? I'm just wondering what the last day or two has been like.
Yeah, I mean, I think the uncertainty of not knowing where you're going to be, I think obviously always weighs in on, you and your family. But I think when it came down to it, I think Edmonton was always, a place that I wanted to be, and really believe in the group and the coaching staff that is in place in Edmonton, and really enjoyed my year there last year. Obviously disappointed with the way things turned out in the bubble, but I don't think that has any reflection on, our group and what we can accomplish this upcoming year. So, obviously sniffed around out there once, just to kind of get a feel for things, and then but kind of had my heart set on Edmonton, and glad we get a deal done.
You and Mikko, I think one of you wound up with one more appearance than the other guy by the end of the regular season. Are you rolling into this year with any playing time expectations, or are you just set to the tip's going to go with the hot guy and you'll probably both see the net at times?
Yeah, I think both Mikko and I have grown to have a great relationship, and I think, the goaltending was very solid this year. Whether it was, we had both guys had, some ups and downs, but I think for the majority of the season, we, it was a strength of our group, and I think both guys pushed each other to be the best we can be. Obviously, there's room for improvement. There always is, but that's what the off season's for, to get ready for next year. And no expectations as of right now, just to do whatever you can to help the team be successful on and off the ice, and be as prepared as you can coming into the season, knowing that it's going to be a condensed schedule. There's going to be a lot of games in a short period of time, and at some point you're probably going to need both guys to be playing well. So that's my expectation as of right now.
Thank you. Next question to Tim Campbell, NHL.com. Tim, as soon as your microphone's active, you can go ahead. And reminder to everyone, use the raise hand function if you'd like to ask a question.
Hey, Mike, good to talk to you. Ken Holland told us earlier in the week that he spoke to you and your agent some time ago to tell you that, the Oilers wanted to explore the goalie market. How did you take that?
Well, I think Ken's just doing his job. I think there's other goalies available. There was 20 or 30 options out there for the net. So I think there's a lot of goalies and not a lot of spots to fill. So there's going to be a lot of movement in this position. Kind of a weird year for that. But I think at my age and my experience, you just got to be patient, and everything works out for the better if you be patient, and things have. So I'm not really worried about what's happened up to this point. I'm super excited to be back with Edmonton and in the great organization that they have. And to be honest, I could care less what had transpired up to this point. I'm just thrilled to be back.
Then my follow-up would be, having spent a year with this organization now and with this roster in that dressing room, how would you look back on it? What adjustments might be needed considering how it ended this season?
Not a lot, to be honest. I think, it was unfortunate that we had a shutdown there when we were playing some of our best hockey of the season, to be honest. I think, you look at our team going into what would be the regular playoffs, and we were playing some of our best hockey. We were cohesive as a group. We were playing the right way. Everyone was contributing. And then obviously, everything happens and we go into the bubble, and it just was a different feel. Obviously couldn't get the job done in those circumstances, but I don't think that reflects anything about our group. I think it it probably motivates guys more to be more prepared coming into this season. And I think it left a sour taste in guys' mouths when we got beat out to Chicago in the bubble and it didn't go as planned. But I think, like I said, I don't think that has anything to do with that guys didn't want it. I think it just was a situation that was more difficult than I think guys were prepared for. And I think guys will be motivated to get back to where we know we can be and be a very competitive team in the upcoming season.
I'll give one last chance to media. If there are any media that want to ask some more questions, use the raise hand function, and then I'll activate and give it a second, and I think we're good. So thank you very much, Mike Smith, for joining us. Congrats again on the contract. Great to have you back in oil country.
Thanks, Andre. Thanks, guys.
Yep. Okay. Congrats on the deal. Just want to start by asking about your decision to choose the Oilers. It sounds like there were a number of other teams that were interested in potentially, different types of offers on the table. What was the main reason why you decided to sign with Edmonton?
Yeah. Well, for me, it was a no-brainer. With everything that's going on and coming off a year like I had, to be able to have a chance to go into Edmonton and play with this team on a one-year deal. And for me, it just it wasn't about money this year, and just, coming in to kind of reestablish myself and, show the league that I'm still a pretty good player. So they got a lot of pieces in Edmonton. I love what they did with Turris and getting Enzo signed up too. So I think we got a pretty great team, and I'm looking forward to getting involved.
And if I can just follow up on that, I wonder, and I know it's so premature, but anywhere in your discussions, did you talk about, a future with Edmonton beyond this year? Was there any talk about how that could potentially be a longer-term fit than just 1 year? And did you have any talks with McDavid about the situation?
Yeah. He actually reached out to me 2 days ago just to kind of, let me know he'd be excited to have me, and he's been great. And we talked a little bit about some longer term stuff with Kenny, and but first and foremost, it's it's gonna. We don't even know what the year is gonna look like yet, and how it's gonna play out, if we're gonna be in a bubble, etc. So I'm just super focused on coming in great shape and stepping in and helping this team win, and whatever happens after that, so be it. But my focus is on just having a good start.
Thank you. Next question to Reed Wilkins from Ched. As soon as your microphone's active, Reed, you can go ahead.
Thanks, Andre. Hi, Tyson. Welcome to the Oilers. I just wanted to follow up on something you said in your opening comment, that you wanted to reestablish yourself and prove that you're still a good player. Have you ever felt that at any other point in your career? I don't want to put words in your mouth, but is this a bit of a chip on your shoulder angle here, or how would you sum it up?
100%. Not that I need to, reestablish myself or anything. I think I almost feel like at the beginning of my career where, coming out of Toronto is tough. The media is tough, and the fans can be hard on you. And I'm just excited to show that, I'm a hell of a player, and I got a lot left to give. So I think this is a perfect opportunity for me to show that. And with just the way that the year has gone, pandemic and everything included, it's almost a perfect storm for a 1 year deal for myself, and to come in and just we'll see where the chips fall after the year, but I'm excited about it.
And also, a lot's made of obviously your power play production and how good this unit could be, you jumping on with those three guys. But how would you describe your 5-on-5 play?
Yeah, I've always excelled 5-on-5. If you look back my time in Colorado, and I've had a lot of good years 5-on-5, and I get labeled as the power play specialist kind of thing. But sometimes I feel that's unwarranted. But that's not for me to say. So I love the way Edmonton plays. They play fast. They drive teams back. They've got guys who pull up and find a late guy, and that's kind of where my bread and butter is following the rush up, beating a forward checker up the ice, and becoming that fourth man. And I think with the speed that Edmonton has, it kind of fits right in, and hopefully I can put some in the back of the net coming late.
Next question to Josh Clipperton from Canadian Press. Josh, go ahead.
Hey, Tyson. You talked about here in Toronto how things didn't work, and you didn't ever feel comfortable, and you didn't really know how much of a change would be going from Colorado. and just you gave a lot of guys in the past credit for how they're able to adapt. How will you approach this change differently than maybe you approached the change to Toronto?
Yeah, it feels quite a bit different. Just going into Toronto, it kind of got off to a rocky start, and for myself, I was the top guy in Colorado as far as power play went, and played a lot of minutes, and going in and trying to adjust to not being in that role and not being that guy. It got off to a bit of a rocky start, and it's hard to kind of reel things in when they're spiraling in hockey. It's a big confidence game. So for me right now, I feel like I've got a whole new perspective on going into Edmonton, and I know the opportunities there, and I'm just super excited to make the most of it.
You had an opportunity to play with talented players in Toronto. Why do you, I know you talked about it a lot, but why do you think it didn't work? I mean, you're going to another talented forward group. Why didn't it work with that forward group as much as maybe you would have liked?
Yeah, I think, after the coaching change, it started to click a little bit. But, the guys in Toronto are so great, and they got a bright future there as well. And I loved every minute of playing with, Austin and Mitch and those guys. But, for whatever reason, and it was maybe, for sure it was certainly on me a little bit. And just, the start that I got off to and the confidence kind of wavered. And, you start second-guess plays you're going to make or when you're going to jump in. And the way that I play, I can't second-guess myself. So I got to be super confident going into this year, and be ready to jump and join the play, and kind of tune out the noise a little bit.
Next question to Rob Tichkowski from Post Media. Rob, your microphone's active. Go ahead.
Thanks. Hey, Tyson. Coming to Edmonton, do you see yourself as returning to that perennial 50-point guy that you've been for the most part in Colorado?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, points isn't everything, and I think with the talent that's on that team, 50 would be low. And I mean, I think I had 39 this year. We only played 70 games and kind of got off to a rough start. So I wasn't getting too far off of getting back to that. But I think just the way that the style that Edmonton plays and the way they drive teams back, and the way, Connor's able to use his speed, and Leon and push other defenders back and pull up, I think that's going to fit my game very well.
The allure of playing with those two guys, breaking out the puck and feeding them, and then working with them on the power play on a 1-year deal, gambling on yourself. This, like you said, does look like the perfect storm for you.
Yeah, it just, and the way the market was set up, and just with everything going on and the flat cap, and it just seemed like a perfect year to do a 1-year deal. And it wasn't so much about the money for me this year. It was about the fit and the opportunity. And I just feel, I'm sure it's not hard to see looking from the outside. It just seems like a good fit, and we're excited to make it work.
We're having some issues with your feed there. Okay, you seem to be back. So next question to Jack Michaels. Jack, as soon as your microphone's active, you can ask your question. Go ahead.
Tyson, I just wanted to follow up on something you said earlier in terms of kind of you never know about that first-time adjustment. And I wanted to ask you a little bit more about off the ice, because in Colorado, you're part of that core group of guys. You grew up together, if you want to, for lack of a better phrase. And I'm wondering whether that was as challenging as anything you faced on the ice, just not being around kind of that same familiar group of guys.
A little bit, but honestly, the guys in Toronto were so great, and they did more to, I know, you can genuinely feel when someone's rooting for you and pulling for you. And I feel like a lot of guys in that room were, they had my back, and they actually helped me through some tougher times. So I didn't have the same role, as I did in Colorado, and didn't, I wasn't as comfortable when I came in, but I eventually got there. And a big part of me getting through some of the tough times in Toronto was, the help of that crew of guys. And I love those guys, and made some lifelong friends there, and I'm pulling for them. So they made the adjustment as easy as possible off the ice for, coming from somewhere long term.
And I guess the follow-up would be, you've probably heard in previous years that, Edmonton was interested. You've obviously, got the feeling that Edmonton was a club that wanted you. Is that exciting to a certain extent that you come in as a team that's really counting on you? Does that present not only a challenge, but also an opportunity for you to embrace that?
Yeah, 100%. I know they've been a team that's been interested, and I've played some, good games against Edmonton in the past, and I think they're expecting, to see that playing for them now. And I'm super excited to bring that. And I just, I've kind of had Edmonton on the radar for a long time, just looking, forward in my career and in my future. And I feel very grateful that an opportunity presented itself. And I get the chance to be an Oiler and play with, some of the best in the world.
Next up, Ryan Rishaug from TSN. Ryan, go ahead.
Tyson, just back to the media scenario. Obviously, stepping into a Canadian market is always going to be, it's going to be different. It's a different type of focus. Can you just expand a little bit on how you think you let that change affect you, and if your approach in coming to Edmonton will be different as a result of maybe what you learned in Toronto?
Yeah, I think the media aspect kind of follows the first and foremost is you play and how you play, how you're played, how you're used, that kind of thing. And I think it kind of follows. If things are going well, the media is going to, pump you up. And if things aren't going well, it's kind of the opposite. Not saying Toronto, tore me down at all. I don't think they did. I think the media was genuinely, trying to have my back and was open, to me playing better, and they wanted me to. But I didn't find the media, too critical on me, but it was just the situation and how I started the year. I think, I had, the worst start to my career, and obviously a lot more cameras there and stuff. Maybe I put a little more pressure on myself than was necessary. But I think to answer your question, I plan on playing a lot better to start the year and just kind of go from there and, maybe get some positive media.
What is your, what have you heard and what are your impressions of the fan base in Edmonton and what their expectation can be like, and what us media in Edmonton can be like?
Yeah, I mean, it's Canadian market, and you've got top players in the world, and a team that spends money and wants to win, and I think the fans expect that. They've got a team, we've got a team now that is expected to win, and it was a bit of a letdown against Chicago, obviously, and I don't think the fans were too happy, and the media had some questions, etc. And I don't think the expectation can be too much different than what's going on in Toronto, maybe on a little bit of a different level in Toronto, just with the size of the city and how popular the Maple Leafs are there. But I mean, Oil fan are passionate, and I'm excited to, give them something to cheer about.
Thanks. Tyson, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Congrats on the deal.